Verse 34, when Esau was 40 years old, he took as wives Judith, the daughter of Beri, the Hittite, and Basemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. And they were a grief of mind to Isaac and Rebekah. I find these last two verses, they just seem like they're out of place from what we've been discussing, and it's just kind of like thrown in there as some information that is somewhat it just seems out of place. And I know you've got more to share on this, because to me it's like, okay, so he's married these two girls, and he's being a pain in the neck to Isaac and Rebekah. Being the word, what's the word? Don't know the word, but he is just being that way.
Yeah. I mean, in chapter 25, we already saw that the phrase introducing Esau as a skillful hunter was a little more than what met the eyes. It's also a kind of like a hint towards his personality. That he loves to, instead of working around the house and, helping his parents, he wants to go outside, be away from all responsibility, and
Do his own thing.
Yes, he's skillful in hunting. Yes, he knows the way of the prey. But he does so he can get away from his daily responsibilities. He does so. It's kind of like the guy that, gets up and instead of feeding his parents, his family's herd, just gets up and frolics around in the forest and, sits on top of a deer stand pretending to hunt. But all he's really doing is, daydreaming about what he could do if he was just not bothered by his parents. If only people would leave him away. It's kind of that kind of a personality. And his actions, he has no respect for legacy and inheritance and God and family. He does not care about anything about himself and what he wants in the moment. He's all about immediate gratification. He was the microwave generation before the microwave was invented. He wants it now. J.G. Wentworth.
Sure.
It's my money and I want it now. If you remember those commercials.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of guy Esau is. And Isaac's the polar opposite. And now we're given another clue. Not only is he running away from personal responsibilities and responsibilities to his family, but he's actively going out and finding ways to disappoint them. How he's a 40-year-old teenager. Mm-hmm. All he wants to do is cause as much pain and misery for his family as possible. And that's what's hinted at here. He gets two wives, and both of them are Hittite. Both of them are, there as foreigners, just like them. But, so he's low standard.
Is this like being spiteful? Sort of like with the Philistines filling in the wells.
Yeah, it's the same spirit.
Mm-hmm.
But it also tells us something else about him. It tells us that the local population didn't care about him either. So he couldn't get girls from the Canaanites or from the Philistines. He married two sojourning foreigners also. Like, those were the only two eligible women for him that he could hitch. And it tells us that, oh, so they were from a lower class, and they couldn't find better opportunities either, marriage opportunities. So they settled for him, and he settled for them.
Mm-hmm.
And his main motivation is, let me cause problems for my parents. Like, my dad loves me, but I'm going to tick him off. I'm going to cause him. And another thing is, it says grief of mind in our NKJV translation. But the Hebrew actually says spiritual grief. So that also hints at not only were they lower class, and I'm not saying that in a derogatory way. I'm just saying, like, if you have the opportunity, you're going to marry somebody that's better educated, that is wealthier. It makes life easier, right? That's how people act. That's how people operate. They look for someone that matches their status in life, so that there's less trouble, less trouble within the family, and so they can secure a future, and they can secure their children's future, and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a character judgment on necessarily when I say lower class, but it's just he was good for nothing, and those women would have been from a family that could only marry someone that was good for nothing. So that, because if they could marry someone else, they would have. Because nobody wants to marry no one with a sound mind and sound judgment would want to marry someone that's good for nothing.
So,
simple stuff.
Birds of the feather flock together.
Yes, there's another way of saying that comes to my mind. That's why I try to avoid saying that, because inevitably it's going to come out the other way.
Oh yeah.
But it also hints at that, Abraham and Isaac, wherever they go, they invite people to worship God and put away their idols. These women were a source of spiritual grief, so they were idol worshippers. That means Esau was an idol worshiper.
Well, he's always had a lot of. Seems like he's always had a lot of anger, even before he sold his birthright.
Yeah.
And since he's sold his birthright, whether he's even realized what he's done, I mean, he may have just thought, yeah, whatever. Because we're going to find out, next chapter, what goes on, and maybe this is. Go ahead and finish what you were saying, and then I want to ask you a question.
I think I was finished. For the most part.
It's kind of odd to me that Abraham has Ishmael, his firstborn. And then he has Isaac, who is maybe on a legal standpoint, the secondborn. And then Isaac has Esau and Jacob. Esau's the firstborn. Jacob is the secondborn. So is there a pattern with this?
Oh, yeah.
Because you always hear it's the firstborn that has the responsibility, that receives the most. They're going to carry on the legacy. But we see Isaac. Now, yes, Isaac was the firstborn to Sarah. But we don't go by the mothers. We go by the fathers.
Yeah.
On a normal basis, if you want to call that. So Isaac was the secondborn. And now Jacob is the secondborn.
We're going to see the same thing in the third generation. We're going to see the same thing, because then...
I didn't want to do a spoiler alert, but
Yeah, that's the story of the Bible. It's a meritocracy. It's not a aristocracy. God is not a respecter of persons. He doesn't care whether you're the firstborn or the lastborn or the middleborn, whether you're highborn or lowborn. He doesn't care about that. He cares about who has the spiritual wherewithal to carry on and partner with God in God's plans, in the legacy that God is building. That's all he cares about. And we're going to see the same thing when it comes to Jacob's children.
On down the line. I mean, there's a few firstborns. We got Moses was the firstborn. No, he was secondborn if you count his sister. But his first male.
Was he? I can't remember if Aaron
think
was older than
Aaron-
him or not.
I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out pretty soon.
Yeah.
And of course, King David, he was last.
Yeah.
You know,
Solomon wasn't the first.
so as you were saying, he's no respecter of person. He's looking for the ones who will continue what he's needing done
Yeah.
to reach the point. Now we know Jesus was firstborn, of course, and there's reasons behind that. But I didn't want to spoil anything, but I was just noting out a pattern.
Yeah, we're not giving the rest of the plot away just yet, but like you said, there is a pattern. There is a pattern, and it's beautiful for us because society tells us that we're not of the higher class, so we have no business doing certain things, or that we're not of the right skin color. We're not brown enough, we're not black enough, or we're not white enough, or we're not purple enough. I don't know. Maybe we're not Smurf enough. But you're not rich enough. You're not educated enough. And God says, I don't care of any of that. All I care about is your heart. Do you love me? I love you. Will you follow me? Because I want to show you whole new worlds. And no, God's name is not Aladdin. But the world has things backwards. And God is showing us that, no. In the end, it's not who the world says it should be. It's the man or woman after my own heart that will be. So, if you feel downtrodden, if you feel like a castaway, if you feel like undesirable, untouchable, if you're a Hindu somewhere and you're a pariah, guess what? God loves you. The one who created the heavens and the earth. The one who created all the gods that men have worshipped over the years, over the millennia. The one who hung the stars. The one who firmed the soil beneath our feet. The one who rains the rain and shines the sun. He loves you. And he cares about you. And he has a plan for you. And he is inviting you on the adventure of your life.